That was the store pepper. Sounds crazy now, but back in those days, pepper was more expensive than gold. We have a saying in Dutch, peper duur. It's pepper expensive. It's as expensive as pepper. And that was the safe to keep the pepper safe. And to the left is the Montalbaan Tower. The Montalbaan Tower. That building, that tower, was a defense tower when it was built. And when defense was no longer necessary, they built the clocks on top. And these clocks had a little problem. They couldn't get them to work properly. You can see there's 4 clocks, right? The first clock would say it's about 10 minutes to 9. But 90 degrees on, it could be 10:15. And again 90 degrees on, it could be 11:30. And the people started calling the tower the Drunken Tower. And that's the nickname it still has, the Dronken Toren.
The Drunken Tower.
The Drunken Tower.
Er hangt een lijntje aan de andere kant buitenboord. Zie je een schroefkop ligt stil.
Oh, is wat
Oh, there. Never mind. Just go on. No problem. I want them for the line that's hanging in the water.
Yeah, it's hanging, yeah.
If it gets in the propeller.
They just laugh.
Big problem.
They're just like, oh, it's fine. Just a rope.
Am I allowed, when we get back here, and they are by the line in the propeller, am I allowed to laugh that?
Okay.
No, right? No.
Okay. This one is doing live.
I think I'm not allowed, but I think I will.
What is this? Alright.
Well, this area is way wider than what we've seen before, right? And that's because this area was used for storing ships. Ships that were in need of a reparation or restoration, they were stored over here. And the storing, and you can see that by the buildings on the banks, especially on the right side. There's large buildings with a lot of windows. Windows were a sign of hope. First because the glass itself was extremely expensive, but also because people were taxed on the number of windows they had. If you wanted to show you had a lot of money, you build a large building with a lot of windows.
Yeah, right.
Beautiful house road to the right now, the black one. Oh wow.
Yeah, it looks
Wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Wait, I have
To the left, you can see some facades, right?
Doesn't that look fake?
And if you look at them, it seems like they're empty.
It does. It looks fake. Oh,
But of course, there's buildings behind.
They go.
Only not 90 degrees, but they're built a little different.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Like in, what will it be, 130, 140 degrees?
That's so cool.
You know why?
Why? Everybody went at the front.
If you have a building like that, you have a wide facade, but a really narrow building. So it looked expensive, but in reality, it was a cheap building.
Okay.
We're cheating village.
Yeah, but then you have all those windows.
Yeah, but that's less than they paid tax
believe
over
how many
windows
of them are crooked
and
that
over
I'm
the
seeing. Look.
Yeah, there's so many that are crooked.
important taxes. On the other side, the Amrad Hotel, Amsterdam School Architecture. On the opposite side,
Yeah. All the cranes.
it's Booking.com is building a new building over there. That building is the Amrad Hotel, Amsterdam School Architecture. Said to be one of the most beautiful examples.
Well, there were a bunch that were leaving. Look at this guy. We're live.
If we would have been here 300 years ago, we would have been at sea. This of Amsterdam. All of the land we see in that direction is man-made, reclaimed from the sea. There's miles and miles of it.
Oh, there's the restaurant though.
To the right,
Oh yeah. Let me see. Let me see.
Get a photo of it.
our science museum. The little bit on to the right is a white square building, and that's a maritime
That
museum.
place.
That's the starting point of the city strip. Well, nobody will be surprised when I say that that is a Chinese restaurant, I guess. See, I knew that. It is the largest floating Chinese restaurant in Europe. I have no idea why you want that record, but hey, a record is a record. To the right now, the
Look at that
Amsterdam
church.
Tower. The tower with the free access in top. Not really visible now. You look at the top of the building, you see something moving. Those are swings. You can swing 120 meters above ground. Not with a paint party.
Oh, the canals look like gold at this time. Look at the water.
This is one of this building. To the right, Central Station.
No, Central Station.
Okay, that looks a lot like a Rijksmuseum, you're correct. Same architect and the same building era. Oh, this is bad. Great. That was my last break, so I'm really, To the right of that, the Schreierstoren, the crane tower, the tear tower. I told you this tower was at sea, right? This was the tower that the ladies were standing on, waving their men goodbye. Not like it. You're supposed to say, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. To the left. Beautiful,
Look at that little tiny
wrinkled,
house.
black and completely crooked road. That's a beauty, right? Is that wonderful?
It's
Oh
so
my
cute.
God, that is so cute.
That building was restored in the last couple of years, from the inside and the outside.
And they just put it in crooked, or it got more crooked after it was restored?
No. They leveled it on the inside. On the outside,
okay.
they kept in original steps.
Okay, that's cool.
But it shows
Oh,
so
so they
good
just level the
problems
inside.
of these one-window buildings. These one-window buildings were built when an alley came out of use. They put a front in, put it back in, put some floors inside. Bing, no building.
Wow.
But
That used to
these
be
buildings
an
had
alley.
problems, right? They had no foundation because there was no room for it. And Amsterdam was still sinking.
Look at this
So
one.
when one neighbour sank a little bit quicker than the other, I think you can understand what kind of problems you had, especially
cute,
with
though.
the narrow building. That's why most of these buildings were torn down again. That one is well, quite special for staying. And this is one of the best kept one-window
Look at
buildings.
that little tiny thing.
Number 61. That building is 6 feet wide. The whole building.
Wow,
1 meter
6 feet
and 80
wide.
centimeters.
Is it an apartment or office?
Apartment. People living in. On the Gentleman's Canal, there is on the Gentleman's Canal, there's even a more narrow building that people are still living in. Well, people, a woman is still living in. That building is 4.5 feet wide. 1 meter and 35 centimeters, about this wide, over. Yeah. She's been living there for ages. I think she can't get out. No, really, it's amazing, right? Imagine living in a corridor.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes deep though. Which left in the middle. Can't be anything else. This area is Chinatown. You could see some Chinese name tags on the walls. These name tags were a gift from the city when after World War II the Chinese people living here fixed this part of the city in the Amsterdam way. And as a thank you for that, they got their street names in Chinese on the wall. It's phonetically Chinese. If you ask a Chinese person to read it, the first thing they say is, it says nothing. And then you'll ask them to read it out loud because it's phonetic. And then they say something that sounds like Geldesakade. And Geldesakade is this area.
That looks really crooked.
You see that beautiful leaning building?
Yeah, that is very crooked.
You think it's tumbling?
It looks like
it's
it's
not.
tumbling.
Actually, it is quite straight. I'll show that when we pass this next.
Oh, okay.
If we pass
That
this
is
bridge, look back at
crazy.
the building, and then look at the corner of the first floor. The first floor. Look at the first floor and then say again if the building is leaning or straight. First floor, over here.
Okay.
If you look at that corner, the building's not leaning at all.
Oh no, it's just made
straight.
that way.
Oh, okay.
From the first corner, it's leaning. And if you see something like this, the first corner is straight and the rest is leaning, you know it's intentional.
Yeah,
It was built leaning.
that's funny.
They wanted to protect the windows. Glass was extremely expensive. And, well, people stored on the outside of the building, right? They have a straight facade and a short hook. There is only so much room between your storing stuff and your precious expensive windows. So some smart people thought, hey, we built the wall a bit over. There's room.
That's smart.
Well, we were quite smart 400 years ago.
I think this one's
800
like
years
that
ago, we
too.
dug these canals.
Yeah, that one's just like it.
This canal, the canal that we're in now,
So smart.
was dug around the year 1200. Just after the dam was
1200.
built in 1170.
There's tulips in the windows.
They dug these canals to drain excess water. To get rid of the water. Back in those days, Amsterdam was a small farming village, and they needed dry land for cattle and for crop. So they dug these canals to drain the water, and it worked. 100 years later, we had city rights, and 700 years after the city rights, we're sailing over here. Quite successful, I think. Nice area over here. A really nice area. Kromboom slope. Krom is curved, and this canal is curved. Boom is the man that ordered the canal, and slope means little canal. Kromboom slope. Yeah, exactly. So that's your first Dutch word?
Yeah.
Good. One more.
No, that.
Oh, look at cute this
To
one.
the right.
Oh my god, that looks super good. Look at this.
It's one of the oldest warehouses in town, still in original state. 5 each year. And there's 400 kilometers of canal on in Amsterdam. 400. No. There's about 400 kilometers of canals in Amsterdam. And he was asking how many cars crash in. That's 5. When I heard that for the first time, I thought, oh, that's quite okay. Of course, it's 5 too many, but it could be worse. Bikes is a different story. Yeah. Nobody knows how many go in. We only know how many we haul out. And that's 15,000 every single year.
Wait,
Oh my
God.
15,000
Bikes that they take out of the canal every
Is
year.
that mostly in the summer? I take it?
No, year round. It's year round.
Crazy.
It's always. I think most of the bikes that go in blow in wind.
There's like
Not
5
marked
bikes
or
every
anything.
day,
Not being
non-stop.
secured to a tree or a bridge or whatever. And if there's a bit of wind, they blow in. A lot of bikes are parked in the canals by drunk people. All things happen.
How do you get out?
If your car goes in the canal,
No, like if you fall in the canal.
well, there's stairs everywhere.
Ladders.
The stairs.
Hopefully you can see.
Every couple of 100 meters, there's stairs to get out of the canals. But if you're in the winter, and the water over here is just above freezing, so 0 to 1 degree, and you fall in and you're a bit intoxicated, you won't be for a while, but trust me, a lot of people will. If you fall in water of about 0 degrees, it's about 1 minute, and then you know nothing anymore. And if nobody saw you, you'll sink. And you'll get up a couple of days later, but you won't know this. You're dead. And that happens. Well, not really often, but it happens.
These don't ever freeze.
They do
They
sometimes.
do.
Every 8 to 10 years.
No.
Then
Do
it's
you
a real
guys
party.
skate on them? You do?
Then it's a real party. Je komt de snoepjes achteraan. Die wilde altijd zo doen.
It's not a real party.
I think I saw a
And
video
so
of people
freezes.
skating around
Yeah, then it's really,
That is
really, really
crazy.
How does
On
that,
YouTube.
How does that work for the boat, the houseboats, the boats that are stuck in the
no problem.
They just freeze in.
Really?
They get a problem when the
Look
ice
at how
will
lean
be
that
thicker
looks
than
still.
about a foot. And that'll never happen.